The couple had just finished their divorce and walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. The woman was carrying her suitcase, ready to leave the country, but suddenly her husband called her back and offered a bank card with 10 million yuan as compensation. Without hesitation, the woman rejected it, stating that she had never married him for his money. With that, she walked away, without looking back. The husband stood there, holding the bank card, not knowing what to do. He then returned home as if nothing had happened, only to find the house empty and desolate. The bustling figure of his wife was no longer there. As he was about to lean on the sofa, he accidentally found his wife's diary in the gap between the cushions. It was filled with records of their 25 years of marriage, from their innocent and naive love to their marriage with gray hair. The wife had always fulfilled her duties, taking care of him meticulously every day. At this moment, the husband was filled with guilt. Just a few days ago, it was their 25th wedding anniversary. The woman had happily prepared a table full of dishes, waiting for her husband to come back and celebrate. But the food got cold and reheated, and still, her husband didn't return. Feeling disappointed, she picked up the family photo of the three of them, and felt sad. Accidentally, she found another photo hidden behind the frame, a picture of her husband and his first love when they were young. What shocked her more was that she looked somewhat similar to the woman in the photo. Tears welled up in her eyes uncontrollably. Just then, her husband came back. The woman quickly hid the photo, wiped her tears and pretended as if nothing had happened, celebrating their silver wedding anniversary with him. She took out a brooch she had carefully prepared and gave it to him. However, seeing the brooch reminded the husband of the scene 28 years ago, when he gave a brooch to his first love and was rejected. Without saying a word, he knocked the brooch out of his wife's hand and mocked her for playing with such fancy things at her age. The woman's heart ached unbearably. She couldn't understand why her husband was always so cold to her. It wasn't until she saw her husband answering a call from his first love and rushing out anxiously that she realized the truth. These 25 years, she had only been a substitute for her husband's first love. Overwhelmed with sorrow, she felt a sharp pain in her abdomen and collapsed unconscious. When she woke up, she was already in the hospital. The doctor told her she had a stomach illness and asked her to notify her family to come and take care of her. She called her husband, but no one answered, so she struggled to get up and went to the doorway of the ward, where she saw her husband walking by in the hallway. Thinking he was coming to see her, she hurriedly followed him. Unexpectedly, she saw her husband standing beside his first love, and her daughter looking like a family of three. The first love even said she wanted to treat them to braised pork in soy sauce as a thank you. The man happily agreed. The woman thought back to the times when she made braised pork in soy sauce for her husband, and he always showed disdain and said he didn't like it. She realized that he just didn't like the one she made. Instead of making a scene, she calmly watched their figures gradually disappear and felt more and more like an outsider. She no longer felt passionate about this marriage, but for her son, who was about to return from studying abroad, she chose to endure gracefully. As soon as she was discharged from the hospital, she busied herself preparing a table full of delicious food to welcome her son's return. However, she was heartbroken to see that her own son admired that woman deeply. The woman endured her discomfort and happily greeted her son, but unexpectedly, her son spoke coldly to her. Later, her husband sent his first love home. The woman never expected that the reunion of the four of them she had been looking forward to would turn out like this. She still kindly tried to take her son's backpack, but he rejected her, saying her oily hands would dirty his bag. Then her son said that her husband's first love was the most admired traditional Chinese painting teacher, and he despised his mother for being just a housewife who only knew how to do laundry and cook. He preferred that woman to be his mother. Hearing her son's words, she felt like she had been struck by lightning. In reality, she was a renowned chief traditional Chinese painting master whose works had won numerous awards. She had chosen to live a humble life for the sake of her son and husband, longing for an ordinary life as a family of three. She never expected to be treated like this. Heartbroken, she decided to live for herself in the second half of her life. She took the divorce agreement to her husband's company and asked him to sign it. He tried to persuade her to stay, but she had made her decision. The next day, after obtaining their divorce certificate, the man returned home. Reading his wife's diary, he felt a hint of regret. Just then, the TV broadcast news of a plane crash involving his wife. He was instantly filled with panic, but it was already too late.